Welcome back to another episode of Psychonaut Sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, your home for all things psycho. Today we're going to take a look at the Mystical Medleys Tarot from Gary Hall. Never really done a tarot review before, but I love the tarot. I've written a lot about the tarot in one of my books, Shamanic Kabbalah. I have multiple tarot decks, some of which I would still even love to take a look at, but I recently just got this for Christmas from a friend. Ryan Winokur, thank you, brother, for getting this for me. It's a wonderful gift, great product. It kind of fits in line with the sort of cartoony vibe of things, which I really enjoy, specifically from the 1920s and 30s. This is that's the whole sort of aesthetic as those early cartoons. So it comes in a really nice sturdy box. Part of the big thing about tarot nowadays is the packaging and the way it's delivered. That's a really big thing. It's all about in that delivery. So let's kind of take a look. I don't really know much about Gary Hall. I do follow him on Instagram. Apparently the whole way this came about is that he drew a cartoon picture of Baphomet, which is eventually became the devil card. Everybody loved it so much they thought that he needs to make an entire tarot in that sort of style, and so he did. So let's take a look. As you open up, we've got this magnetic opening latch here, and you get that little cute little Baphomet image, which later became the devil, and we get a sleeve which carries the cards and a nice little book. So very little book, but it is a hard cover, which I kind of like these little hard covers because the soft cover booklets that come with tarot decks usually end up falling apart. Taking a look at the back of the cards here, I really enjoy. We get this sort of like infinity symbol, kind of replicating the Baphomet symbology of the as above, so below. And we get a representation of all of the different symbol sets of the tarot on here as well. So fun little backs. Really enjoy them. We'll get into the book in just a minute. And really, I already kind of divided this deck into the major arcana and minor arcana. For those that do not know tarot, there is a division between the minor arcana, which are more like the suits in a playing card deck, but they are divided into cups, wands, swords, and coins or pentacles. Take your pick. And each of them represents a sort of element of the of existence, which has all of these sort of metaphysical occult meanings, which allow you to kind of grow the symbolism within each card. So the cups represents water, wands normally fire, swords represent air, and pentacles earth. Each one of those kind of deals with different aspects of existence. You know, water, you can imagine, is a very emotional realm of being. Swords, clarity of thought. Coins, pentacles, earth, you know, very physical, mundane aspects of existence, so on and so forth. Many different people have many different types of interpretations. I would like to kind of get the camera a little closer, but my camera starts going wonky. So I'm going to go through the major arcana. So there's that minor arcana, and the major arcana are sort of the main archetypal symbols of the tarot. And really what they are is they kind of tell the whole story of man's existence, but the whole humankind's existence, but the whole story of the way our lives play out in the universe. So it's a if you know anything about Carl Jung and archetypes and these ideas that kind of exist in the astral realm that kind of feed into our lives, that's really what the major arcana is all about. Whereas the court cards and the numbered cards like you get in a playing card deck are kind of like the everyday aspects of existence. So they usually number from 0 through 20. Blah, blah, blah. I know the numbering, I just can't think of it right now. And I just kind of want to go through them and their symbols and kind of take a look at Gary Hall's representation. So there is a forward in here from Leah Moore, who is actually the daughter of Alan Moore, the famous comic book writer, now famous novelist. She actually has a new graphic novel coming out called Morrison Hotel, which is about the Doors, and got to put that on my list. Way too many things in 2022 to put on my list. It just kind of talks about, you know, everything I've already said about Gary Hall, kind of creating that Baphomet design. It got really popular. It blew up, and so everybody started going crazy and wanted to, you know, be a part of this, but bring it into the Tarot realm. So all the numbering of the major arcana always starts with the Fool, and again, so everything is about this like early Hollywood 1920s, 1930s sort of animation vibe, and it's because, according to Gary Hall in his intro, that era of animation was packed full of heavy ideas, symbolism. Those early cartoons dealt with sex and death, and major themes that you don't really see in cartoons nowadays. There was the slapstick element, yes, but they were way more, I don't know if I want to say mature, but just way more layered with information beyond just watching, you know, a coyote running after a roadrunner. So we get the Fool here, which is very interesting. And what I love about this is that he doesn't not only keep that animation style from the 20s and 30s, but the cards here also have this sort of rough look, as if, you know, it's kind of been beaten up. It's older, and we get the basic symbolism specifically from Rider-Waite Tarot, but kind of even adds a little bit more of his own, such as the all-seeing eye as the pyramid of, you know, his head, basically. That's part of his own. Also, a part of this Fool piece, you know, we've got the dog, which is always a part of it. He's getting ready to walk off a cliff. That's traditional symbolism of the Tarot. We've got the sun in the sky. But what's interesting about this is we get the ears and the nose of Pinocchio, the donkey ears and the nose of Pinocchio when he's turning into a donkey. So we get a little bit of that, you know, Fool, the ash, that aspect of Pinocchio that was innocent and coming into the world and just, you know, getting ready to jump off the cliff. The Fool is all about starting new endeavors, so on and so forth. So excellent start. And what's cool is we got like a lot of the basic colors going on here of the Rider-Waite Tarot too, and the coloring is actually very important in terms of the occult symbolism as well. We got the Magician. We got the Magician here right after the Fool. Fool and the Magician are two of the main starting aspects of this whole journey through the Tarot. We still keep that eye symbology, the all-seeing eye, and the Magician is really that thing which unites all the elements. You see, we have the wands and the pentacles, the cups, and the swords on this table. He's the master of all of these elements. We get these cool, I love this, it reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, which is one of my favorites. And the infinity symbol is usually a prime symbol on top of the head of the Magician. Always, forever, eternal. Love it. High Priestess. Again, we're getting that basic symbology of the two pillars that's seen in Freemasonry, but also just kind of harkens back all the way to the Temple of Jerusalem. Boaz and Joachim are the two pillars of the polarities of existence, really. The masculine and the feminine, the positive and the negative coming together, and the High Priestess is really the conjunction of that. what's interesting is he makes the High Priestess a cow, which goes back to, the cow symbology, going back to Egypt, which was related to the feminine, and sometimes the masculine too, in other aspects of the Middle East during ancient times, but a very, very holy symbol. And a very nurturing, grounded presence that supplied nourishment for the people. Another great image. And we even have the veil in the background here, which is very important because the High Priestess is sort of that entrance into the veil of the mysteries. Excuse me. Incredible that this is so cartoony and so fun, but he keeps all of that esoteric information on here. The Empress, all about fertility, the really strong card of the feminine. Just a beautiful rendition. Got that almost sort of Betty Boop mentality into that character. The Emperor, that rulership. We even have the symbolism of Aries in the Emperor, which is huge. We got him holding his scepter and globe. Again, all of that prime symbolism, and even the coloring is really important because there's usually a darker orange coloring to the Emperor as opposed to the Empress. So again, keeping that basic color palette of really, the Rider-Waite Tarot built upon the coloring, but I'm really talking about like the one of the earlier decks of the Tarot Marseille. The Hierophant, we're going back to the all-seeing eye as a head here. We always need to have this imagery, the two pillars in the background and these two extra figures below. You'll notice in the Tarot that this sort of setup of this prime figure in the middle and these two figures below is going to be a repeated notion, because this is the way the Tree of Life is set up in Kabbalah, and it's the pattern in which the universe creates and brings forth information. And the Hierophant is that figure that really is able to draw that energy down into the earth. Originally known as the Pope, I believe. The Lovers. So again, we get two figures, and then we've got that third figure in the middle, and we got those two pillars. So the Lovers, I've had one of my mentors tell me one time, you should never have a Lovers card without that third figure. It's all about that union between two opposites coming together. The Lovers isn't necessarily about love and romance or whatever. It's really about as Carl Jung said, the conjunctio, the conjunction between the two parts of the self coming together. Individuation is what he called it. The Chariot, taking charge. We got the two sphinxes below. Very nice. Strength. So this is actually the card that was chosen as the front, and it's really well done. Seen many renditions of Strength where she's riding the lion, or she's sometimes pulling open the jaws of the lion. Notice the connection between the infinity symbol on the head of the magician. But in this one they chose that she's riding the lion gracefully. I just noticed he's wearing a coat, so it's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast motif as well. Mastering the animal within, the animal nature within us. The Hermit, this is like, I can't stand it. I can. I love it. The freaking face on the guy. The Hermit holding the lantern, holding the way of the light. Sometimes we need to go within. And we've got that Star of David around on his hat there, which is a prime symbol in this as well. Wheel of Fortune. So there's a way to figure out what like your life path is, like in terms of Kabbalah and using gematria and your birth date. And every tarot card aligns with a path on the tree of life in Kabbalah. And you can find out what card represents your life path the most. And this one's my wife's, the Wheel of Fortune. Just that everything runs through a cycle. There's always one aspect of that cycle that will dominate the others, but then that will pass. And then another cycle will come. So it's, being able to just kind of flow with the turning of the wheel. Oh, I'm missing a card. What happened? I got these out of order. Oh well, I'm going to continue. This one's actually my life path, the Hanged Man. Love it. Love the basic coloring, still kept from the Rider-Waite. We got this tree here, kind of taking a look, and I don't. There's very few interpretations of the Hangman that I actually appreciate. A lot of times it has a negative connotation, but I really see it as a positive connotation. It's, there's an aspect to seeing the world from another angle, because really truly in the original rendition of the Hangman, he doesn't look worried, he doesn't look upset, he's just kind of sitting there placidly like, yeah, okay, the world's turned upside down, but I'm fine. And that's the whole medicine of the Hangman, is to be able to just deal with all the absurdity of existence and just rolling with it. Death. It's kind of fun. We got that champion of death that as a knight here. So a little bit added. I love the characters. He's an excellent cartoonist for sure. Very happy. Temperance. A little wackiness here. With Temperance, even though Temperance is all about kind of, you're tempering a situation. It's calmness. It's like finding that balance, that zen. Not too much, not too little. There's a zaniness there, which is fun. These are representative of the Yod letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Yod He Vav He, also known as Jehovah or Yahweh, or is a name of a god, but it's really a symbol in and of itself. It's a system of understanding the human body and the human mind, because each Hebrew letter has a very specific meaning in the way that they're laid out with one another. There are some Kabbalists that say Yod He Vav He, Yahweh, like that. If you can understand truly, you could spend a whole lifetime just trying to meditate upon Yod He Vav He and what that means, and that's really all you would ever even need to understand the mysteries of existence. And here's the famous devil card, subjugating ourselves to our desires. Yeah, maybe. Or I've always seen the devil card as it's a scapegoat, right? Because there is no devil, really. It's really just it's who we've used to make up excuses for our own behavior. There's no evil devil out there. Calm down, everyone. The Tower. This is probably one of the only cards. Death isn't bad. The devil isn't bad. This is the only card that whenever, if I draw it, I'm like, whew, okay, here we go. It means your world is about ready to be shucking up. So, taken down. Your foundations are about ready to be swiped out from underneath you, so buckle up. The star, that connection, we have the same types of stars. The 8-pointed stars. And the same as you saw in the temperance, the pouring of the waters from both hands. This is really about connecting with that upper world. The moon, once again, so this is like that connection with that upper world. We could see the two pillars again. But it's kind of about battling, again, like the strength card, those instincts within us. There's the wolf. You've heard the notion that there's two dogs or two wolves within us. One is angry and one's not. One's like a tame dog. In the original tarot, it's like a dog and a wolf. One's tame, one's not. Which one are you going to feed? Which one's going to be more dominant? We even have the crab symbology, so this is like the astrologically connected with Cancer, but this is like really delves into the primordial aspects of our existence, that ancient this struggle of us being tame, domesticated creatures versus the wild animal is something we all deal with. It's in our DNA. The sun. This is another one of my favorite cards, and I'm so glad they got the wall in there, because a lot of people feel like the sun usually have like a little child on a horse or something. It's all about just abundant energy and just free for all and just wee, but there's always a wall there, like you would have a wall in the garden. It's actually about like having that like abundant energy and containing it, holding it in, having boundaries with that, understanding discernment. You know, the sun isn't just raging above us. The sun, well, like the earth is like at a perfect distance, so the sun, it does not have a negative impact on us and mess up our environment. And far enough away, you know, it's at that perfect balance. Our positioning to the sun. So it's, to me, it's all about that. Judgment, again, kind of like the Lover's card, we've got the 3, the symbolism of that third, peace overhead. This is another card sort of taking a look at our lives. That's why these figures are in their graves. And the change that comes with that, and it's not about like judgment from on high, but really kind of taking a look at the relationship of our inner selves, our masculine and feminine, and the child within together, in really finding that higher aspect of our own selves to judge our everyday existence, in the sense of just making decisions on your own behavior, not judging in the negative sense. The world is a nice. Normally, these figures are the 4 holy living creatures from, God, I'm going to butcher this, from Ezekiel, I think, or Isaiah, which represent the zodiac as well, but here we've just got the regular triangle notations of earth, air, fire, and water, and the way they're represented in alchemy. We've got the abundance. Really, the world is the conjunction of this all. This is the end of the journey of the tarot, from the tool, the fool, the tool. He is a tool. The fool kind of spilling itself out of existence. It's like the universe is, okay, let's jump off the cliff and see how this is going to work, right? And this is the journey of the universe kind of creating manifested things into existence. And it all comes together into the world. Everything, the above and below, fully encompassed as one. great card. Get a little bit of that Hollywood sort of globe thing. And then there's two added extra cards. Happy Squirrel and Sad Squirrel. So he added these as new elements. And we can take a look at what they mean here in the book. He's got really fun little ditties as to what everything is about. The book is laid out really well. He doesn't really give out the traditional meanings of the cards. He kind of does it in this sort of, hey, we're in Hollywood and this is blah blah blah. So let me give you a little example here for the Fool. The morning is full of joy as the carefree fool sets off on his journey. Blah, 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 blah. All adventures begin with a single step. Don't be afraid to know. You know nothing. There are choices to be made, and every choice is valid. Muster your strength, listen to your heart, and let the story begin. It's that sort of thing. So he kind of keeps it generic, so you can also kind of come up with your own meanings based upon the symbols that you see. Every image is a symbol. And cartoonists actually understand this more than anyone, which is why this is like a perfect mix. The cartooning and the great work, capital G, capital W, the occult, the mysteries. So these cards are exclusive to this deck. Happy Squirrel is a vague and mysterious mendicant, secretly scurrying to and fro up and down the world tree. What has he unearthed this time? Is this acorn a seed that needs planting to bring an interesting idea to fruition, or a tantalizing treat to be enjoyed right now? Truly an unknown factor. There's much to learn from this happy chap who has cleverly stored away exactly what he needs to now enjoy his moment in the sun. Pretty fun. And Sad Squirrel, hands off my nuts. So he's being tongue-in-cheek here too. Is so fun. That's the sour stance of the Sad Squirrel. What's mine is mine. This is no cute, cuddly creature. Are you as defensive about things as this unhappy chappy? Just look how sad his whole world is because he won't share. Ask yourself, why does it always rain on me? Why not share the wealth and spread the love? You'll be happier if you do. Tons of fun. Good exclusive cards. Happy Squirrel and Sad Squirrel. So, and he's got some fun decks here, or decks, spreads, and they all kind of, so he's got a single card spread, a 3-card spread. That's pretty basic, but he's also got really fun spreads that I've tried so far. Lights, camera, action. So there's always some kind of like a 5-card spread sometimes, but this is really fun because it's all like based upon that early Hollywood sort of stuff, that mentality. Lights, camera, action. So, and the 5 placements, there's you as number 1, 2 is the movie director, 3 is the script, 4 is the studio, and 5 is your claim to fame. So tons of fun. And then the spirit scale, which is a spread that corresponds to the 7 notes in the primary scale of music. So such a good time. And he explains it. I mean, there's not a ton to read here. It just took me a couple minutes to read some of the basic stuff. I mean, he's found a way to kind of parse it all down pretty easy that I think anybody that's not even familiar with the tarot could pick it up and kind of understand. So, but yeah. So I'm not going to go through the minor arcana too much. It's not that I don't appreciate the minor arcana, it's just so much. But to give you an idea, major arcana I know the most about anyway. But wonderful. Again, if you take a look at the Rider-Waite Tarot, he kind of takes that basic symbolism and then really just runs with it. Has a good time with it. Adds his own sort of spin and twist to it. If I had to give this a grade, it would certainly be an A. like of our grading class. Love this one, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta get my mushrooms in there. So, and each one, you know, it's like they've got their own just quick little, you know, 1 to 2 sentence meanings with some fun little quip. Such a great book. It's easy to use. I would recommend this to anyone. Go check out Gary Hall's Mystical Medleys Tarot. If you're into the tarot, it's great for your collection. If you have not ever used the tarot before, I would use this. I would definitely recommend this as a beginner deck for sure. Especially for anybody out there that's a cartoonist. So there you go. That's my look at Mystical Medleys Tarot by Gary Hall. Thank you, sir, for bringing this out into the world. It's a treat, and I have definitely not just added it to my collection, but I use this sucker. It's fun. Alright, thank you very much, everyone. You keep safe, keep healthy out there, and keep it psycho.